Welcome, everyone. My name is Belen, and I will be guiding you through 60 minutes of Yin Yoga. Before we begin, I do want to recommend everybody grabbing some props. We want to be as supported as we can while we hold the poses. If you're not familiar with Yin, we hold each asana for 3 to 5 minutes. And the purpose of holding the pose is to reach the connective tissues, deepen the muscles around the joints. And it usually takes about 90 seconds to reach the fascia, the connective tissue. So we want to be definitely supported while we're holding the pose and relaxing into it. So if you have a blanket or a towel or two, remember we want to be as supported as we need. Grab it. So grab a blanket or a towel. And if you have blocks, great. I usually like using two. If you don't have blocks, that's okay. You can try using maybe some books and pile them up, or just try grabbing more towels or maybe a cushion. So we will be using the bolster as well. If you don't have a bolster, that's okay too. You can grab a cushion or two, and you can use that. So yeah, let's begin. Before we start, actually, I do want to make sure that everybody has come to a clear space without clutter, and you have your props with you, because we are going to interchange them and move them around. So I want you to have everything you need, clear space, so we can come into our mats and really center. So let's begin in a seated position. So come to an easy pose. We're going to start with a little bit of a breathing exercise. So you can start seated. If you have a meditation cushion, you like to use it, or if you want to elevate your hips so it's easier to cross your legs, bring your blanket, fold it in half and place it right underneath the hips. And you like to sit right at the edge of the blanket so your hips can tilt forward, and that will give you a little bit more space with your legs just to feel more comfortable. All right, so let's begin. Now that you're in a comfortable seated position, bring your hands to your knees or thighs. Relax your shoulders away from the ears. Maybe shrug them up towards the ears and then really relax them down. Close your eyes and start bringing your attention into the flow of your breath. So inhaling in through the nose and out through the nose. Practicing your Ujjayi breath here. In through the nose and out through the nose. So keep breathing just like that, finding your center. Coming into the present moment, leaving any thoughts of the past, of the future, by the door or downstairs. Just being in the present moment, which is right here, right where you are on your mat. You have nowhere to go and nothing to do. You've made this time to take care of yourself. So as you breathe in, allow the spine to lengthen as you reach towards the sky with the crown of your head. Exhaling it all out through the nose. Deep breath in. Breath out. And then in your next breath, make it a deep, 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 deep breath in, filling the lungs, letting your belly fill up with air. Hold at the top, take another sip of air. And then gently open mouth, let it all go. Deep breath in. Hold at the top. Open mouth, exhale. Release all the air out. Inhale in deeply. Fill the lungs to 100%. Hold. Open mouth, let it all go. So release all the air out, back to 0. Let's do that 2 more times. Deep breath in. Open mouth, exhale. Inhale in. Open mouth, let it go. Now gently come back to the natural flow of your breath. In and out through the nose, relaxing your shoulders down, feeling your sit bones connected to the blanket or mat underneath you. Feeling supported by the earth. And as you breathe in and out, know that the breath will be our anchor and our focus through this practice. So if your mind starts to wander, simply come back to that natural, organic flow of inhales and exhales. Now gently flicker your eyes open. And we're going to begin in butterfly pose. And so keeping the blanket underneath you, bring the soles of your feet to touch. And instead of bringing the feet or the heels towards your pelvis like we usually do, bring them away from your pelvis, creating a diamond shape on your legs. And then grab your blocks or your books and place them right next to your feet. We're gonna fold over in this butterfly pose, and we're gonna rest either our hands or our forearms onto the blocks. Now the blocks could be at any level. Know that we're all different. We all have different bodies, different levels of flexibility. So if you don't need the blocks or the support underneath your hands or forearms, then you don't need to use them. You can just put them aside. But if you do, remember, we want to feel very supported. Now, before we begin in Buddha Konasana, I want you to leave any judgment, any expectations of how a pose should look, and just feel. We are going to be targeting different areas in the body, which is what we want to be mindful of. And then one more thing before we begin. There are 3 main principles taught us in Yin Yoga. The first one is to find your edge, which means trying not to go all the way down or push yourself into a pose, but just find your edge where you feel that compression, and then stay there. The second principle is to hold the pose, to find stillness, and the third principle is to hold the pose. So when we find stillness, you'll see that as time passes, you'll start feeling a little uncomfortable, you'll start fidgeting a little bit, and that's okay. If you find yourself fidgeting, just bring yourself back into your breath. We do want to stay as still as we can so we can reach the connective tissues and really benefit from the pose. And then just hold for time, just stay there in your pose. If you start feeling any pain or if you start feeling any tingling in your body, just reassess, come back and maybe add a little more props or remove some props or just readjust, but just be mindful and slow and move slow. And know that pain is not okay. We don't want to hurt ourselves, but feeling uncomfortable is, because that is how we grow, that's how we heal, and that's how we get these connective tissues around the joints and deep into the muscle to hydrate, to give us a little more range of motion, more flexibility, and really get all the benefits from them. So let's begin, finally. Grab your bolster or your cushion, and we're gonna place it right across your thighs. And then bring the blocks, and if you don't need them, if you wanna bring the blocks and place them underneath the knees, you are welcome to. Remember, this is your practice, so adjust as much as you need to. All right, let's take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, start folding forward. Allow your spine to round and allow the hands or forearms to rest on the blocks. And then gently allow your head to drop down. We're going to hold for some time, so you do want to be comfortable. As you let your head drop down, you're also stretching the back of your neck. So find your breath here. Allow the head to drop completely. Feel your hips starting to open. We're stretching our low spine, our hips, hip sockets, and our neck. And as we hold this pose, also know that in Yin Yoga, we also target meridian lines and nadis that run through our body. These are energy channels that sometimes get blocked, or the energy moves in the wrong direction. So as we stay still in each pose, we're stimulating these channels, unblocking them, and allowing the energy to flow in the right direction. In butterfly pose, we are targeting the meridian lines that run along the outside of our legs and into the gallbladder. So breathe deeply into your legs, your hips, your spine, and try to keep your awareness on that breath. If your mind starts to wander, acknowledge the thoughts, allow them to dissolve, and come back to your breath. Follow the breath as it goes into your lungs and spreads throughout your body, down to the very last corners. And allow the legs to relax. Relax your hips. Relax your spine. And try to remain as still as you can. Remember that wherever the breath goes, the mind follows. So if we keep our attention to the flow of our breath and allow it to slow down, our mind will also slow down. Gently take a deep breath in. Sigh, exhale. Resting your hands on the blocks or mat. Press yourself away from the mat, away from the floor, rounding up your spine one vertebrae at a time, moving very slowly and mindfully. Stacking each vertebrae on top of the other, your head is very last to lift. Flicker your eyes open. Remove the props to the side. Very gently movement, very gentle movements. And then very gently again, close your knees together. Lean back with your fingers pointing forward and allow your knees to drop to the right and left. Windshield wiping them. Feeling the release in the legs. Breathing as you move. You might feel the release on your hips, maybe on your low spine even. And take 2 more breaths here. As you move, you want to close your eyes, you can. And then gently make your way back to center. We're going to move into Paschimottanasana or caterpillar pose. So let me change my orientation here. And we want to keep that blanket underneath our hips. So again, we get that elevation and our hips can tilt forward. And then if you have a separate blanket or towel, whatever you're using, you're going to grab it, you're going to roll it, and you're going to place it right underneath your knees. So we want our knee joints and our knees to be supported so we can fold forward. Now with the blocks or bolster, and if you wanted to use more towels or more blankets, you can. We're going to place them right on top of our legs, and we're going to build a little tower. So whatever that looks like to you, if this is how it looks like to you, and this is where you're going to be, then that's great. That's where you're going to be. If you're not going to use any props, then you don't have to. But just find a comfortable place. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, gently round your spine and allow your forehead to come all the way down on top of the block or blanket, wherever you find it. And then allow your hands to drop to the sides with your palms lifted. Relax your legs. I'm going to set my timer here. And try bringing your attention back into the flow of your breath. Settle in. As we sit in this asana, we are stretching the ligaments along the back of the spine. We're compressing our stomach organs, stomach, small intestine, and large intestine, aiding digestion, massaging our heart, stretching the back of our legs. So as you breathe in and out, send oxygen to all these spaces. Release any tension you might be holding in the legs, in the spine. also targeting the meridian lines that run along the urinary bladder. Releasing any blockages we might have there, allowing that energy to move freely into the right direction. Again, if your mind starts to wander, acknowledge your thoughts. Allow them to dissolve into the air, into space. And bring your awareness, your attention, your focus back into the flow of your breath. As our physical body finds stillness, our breath slows down, and our mind slows down. Relax your legs. Remember that uncomfortable feelings are good, but painful are not. So if you're feeling pain or a little tingling, just retrieve, add some padding, props, and come back and find stillness again. Gently take a deep breath in. Sigh, exhale. And as you breathe in, start bringing your palms to the mat. And pressing yourself up again, stacking each vertebrae on top of the next. Bringing your head to lift back up at the end. Flicker your eyes open. Remove the blocks to the side. Move the props to the side. And then gently lean back. You can shake your legs off a little bit here. Remember to move mindfully. And then we're going to move into hammock. So we're just going to do this for a few breaths, but bring the soles of the feet onto the mat. And as you inhale, very gently lift the hips up to the sky and allow your head to drop back. Exhale, come back down slowly. My voice is shaky. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Let's do that one more time. Inhale. Exhale. Awesome. So we're gonna move into Sphinx pose now. So sway your legs around and bring the blanket that was underneath your hips, open it up as much as you want to. It's just gonna give us a little support on our pelvis, and then you're gonna lay on top of it, extending your feet out, and then come to your forearms. So once your forearms are on the mat, make sure that your elbows are in line with your shoulders. So if your elbows are too wide, this is gonna cause a lot of strain on your back. So just bring them in, and the same if they're too in, bring them out. We want to make sure that they're in line with each other. And then grab opposite elbows here and move your elbows forward 1 inch. So grabbing your elbows here allows you to make sure that the correct distance is between each elbow to make sure that you're in line with your shoulders. And then we're gonna stay here. Before we move into our stillness, I wanna make sure that your shoulders are not crunched up like this. So we want our shoulders away from the ears. And then you have an option with your head. You can either drop it down, keeping your shoulders away from the ears, or your shoulders down and back, not like this, slouching in, but away from the ears so we can get the full benefit of the pose. And then if you want to stay here, you can bring a block and place it underneath your forehead. Oops. For support. You can do it without the block, or if you like to stimulate your thyroid, you can let your head drop back. So find the variation that you like for yourself, for your body, for your practice today. And gently come to your breath. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Relax your legs. Unclench your glutes. And feel the compression in your low back. So as we stay into this pose, we are targeting our low spine. As we target our sacral lumbar arc, we are stimulating our Jing energy. Jing energy is the energy reserves of the body, or in the body, and it is located between the L2 and L3 vertebrae. So right where we're finding that compression. So breathe into your low spine, your sacral lumbar arc, and allow it to relax. Allow your low spine to drop and melt into the mat while your elbows and forearms are holding you up. Relax. Find your breath. This pose is great for all of us who are sitting for long periods of time, either driving or at our office or in our house, if we're working from home. So if you like to watch TV in this pose, you could release a little tension in the low spine. Just focus on breathing. If your mind wanders, come back to your breath. And then gently take a deep breath in through the nose. Sigh, exhale. Gently either lift your head or drop it back down if it was dropped back. Come back to center. Flicker your eyes open and very gently pressing on your hands, open the elbows out, allowing the chest to drop, and bring your hands one on top of the other, allowing the forehead to drop all the way onto your hands. Find your breath here and find a little wiggle of your hips from side to side, resetting the spine. Maybe it'll feel good for you to come back to center and then bend your knees and allow them to windshield wipe, dropping from side to side. Just find that release in the body, whatever feels good to you, moving slow and mindfully. Last deep breath in. And deep breath out. On your next breath in, lift your head up and very slowly we're going to turn around completely. So find yourself laying down on the mat. Or let me do it this way so I can have my stuff here. And we're going to move into supine twist. So you will be needing either blocks or a bolster or a pillow. Just find the props that work for you. And then as you lay all the way down, let's start by bringing your knees into your chest and giving them a big hug, a big squeeze in. As you inhale, allow the tailbone to lengthen down into the mat. As you exhale, bring the knees into the chest a little bit more. Inhale, lengthen down. Exhale, squeeze them in. And then gently drop one foot, then the other, and extend your legs out. Now we want to bring the pillow or bolster right next to your hip, between your hip and your legs. And you might want to keep a blanket next to you on the other side. So bringing your left knee into your chest, give it a squeeze in before you move it across your body and allow it to rest on the bolster next to you. Now the blanket on this side, you'll see that either your knee starts flaring up or your shoulders has a little gap here. If it doesn't, then you don't need the blanket, but if it does, the blanket is there for you. So just place it underneath your shoulder. There you go. And allow your shoulder and your arm to completely relax down. Your right arm can be extended. I'm gonna do cactus arm here. If you're in a tight space, you can do cactus arms. And then eye gaze to the left here. Close your eyes. And come into the flow of your breath. Now, if you like to lift your arms above you, you can, stretching them above your head. This stimulates the heart and lung meridian lines that run along the arms and into the chest. So if you like to stimulate the meridian lines, then you can lift your arms up. If not, just allow them to rest open next to you. Find your breath. And And then gently find stillness. In this pose, we're restoring the parasympathetic nervous system. We're also aiding the organs of digestion. So we massage them in the twist, allowing them to release toxins, releasing toxins through our spine as we twist as well. If you have sciatica pain and you like to move your knee a little bit higher, closer to your armpit, you can. We'll find relief there. Find your breath. Connect with your inner self. Holding poses in Yin Yoga teaches us to be a little less reactive, a little more patient. Relax your legs. Allow your left leg to rest completely relaxed on top of the bolster, blankets or pillows. Relax your shoulders and allow them to melt away from the mat underneath you. Relax your eyebrows, unclench your jaw. Sometimes we do that without even knowing we are doing it. As you breathe in and out through the nose, send oxygen to all your body extremities. Release any tension you might be holding. Honor any sensations arising. Breathe deeply into your left lung and release that air, allowing your shoulders to relax even more. Gently take a deep breath in Sigh, exhale. And as you breathe in, flicker your eyes open. And then gently guide your left knee back into your chest. Squeeze it in. Bring the right knee into your chest. And find that release on the left side. So maybe move your hips from side to side. Maybe bring your knees into circles, big or small. Just moving slowly here. We want to allow our spine to release. You might feel it in your leg, in your hip, shoulders. Wherever you're feeling it, just find some movement and keep breathing through your nose. Take one more breath. And gently come back to center. Release one foot at a time. Extend them out. Extend your feet out. And gently move your props to the other side. So if you use the blanket underneath your shoulder, move it to the other side. And whichever prop you use to support your leg, move it to the other side. Now, remember, you don't have to use a bolster if you don't have one. If you want to use a block or 2 blocks, you can. As you inhale, bring the right knee into your chest. Give yourself a squeeze here. And then gently guide your right knee across your body to rest, either on a block, bolster, towel, pillow, whichever you choose. Then open your arms out wide or lift them up above your head and place a blanket or support underneath your right shoulder. And bring your eye gaze all the way to the right. Close your eyes. Find your breath. Relax your legs. Allow your spine to twist to restore the parasympathetic nervous system, which allows you to relax and feel calm. Picture your spine like a wet towel. You're squeezing the water out. You're twisting it out, squeezing all the toxins that we ingest through what we eat, what we see, what we listen to. Any undigested emotions. Your mind wanders, come back to the breath, come back to your anchor into the present moment. And remember why you're here. Why you came into your mat today. Allow the shoulders to relax down and melt away on the mat. Find your breath. Allow any tension to be released, either on your legs, on your hips, on your back, your arms, even your head. Release all that tension and allow your body to melt into this pose, into this asana. Just focus on the inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Feel the twist in your spine. And maybe try to feel the difference between this side and the other side. You might feel a little more flexible on the right side, maybe a little less flexible, a little more tense. That's how you get into your body, by noticing how it feels, by noticing right from left. Now gently take a deep breath in. Sigh, exhale. And very slowly walk your right knee back into your chest. Flicker your eyes open. Squeeze the right knee in and then gently bring the left knee into the chest. Find that gentle movement, either with your knees together, your knees can be apart. You can move from side to side, massaging your low spine. Maybe even a happy baby, grabbing the outsides of your feet. Just gently swaying from right to left. Finding your breath one more time. And coming back to center, gently releasing your feet one at a time. Protecting your spine, and then extending your legs. Coming into our very last pose, Shavasana. So gently allow your shoulder blades to tuck in, palms up. Allow your toes to flare out. And gently bring your awareness into your breath. Let's take a deep breath in. All the way to the top. Open mouth, exhale. Find your natural breath. You can stay in Shavasana as long as you need, as long as you want. Just try and stay at least for 5 minutes. Going from a outward focus into a more inward one, if you haven't already. With each breath, breathing in fresh energy, releasing any tension, any stress, any worry with each exhale. Scanning your body from head to toes as you breathe. Releasing the tension and allowing that tension, that worry, that stress to melt down into the mat, into the earth, supporting your body underneath you. And know that you've always been supported. Mother Nature has always been there for you and always will. Just as long as we take the time to listen to our bodies. As you follow the breath, feel your lungs as you inhale, and as you exhale, release all that breath out. Following the breath in the body, noticing what has shifted, moved, what you've created space for. Like I said, you can stay here as long as you need, as long as you want. Shavasana is one of the most nourishing poses of all. So feel free to stay there 20 minutes if you want to. But I'm gonna go ahead and say goodbye. So thank you for joining me into this 60-minute Yin Yoga class. It's always my pleasure to teach Yin in the hectic lifestyles that we all live in. It's always nice to ground and slow down and just focus a little bit on our breath, just allowing the breath to take over, just taking a moment for ourselves. So thank you so much. Namaste.